Let me come to Dr. Rahul Chawla first. As someone who's been a topper himself in a NEET exam, has the time come to completely relook at this exam? Because this is happening year after year. Even if in one center or two centers, as the government is claiming, there could have been something that went wrong. Is that enough to say, let's totally revamp this exam?
Sir, it doesn't look like something has went wrong. It looks like so many things have went wrong at so many level that just puts up, so many irregularities that have come across and so many coincidences that it really needs the Supreme Court and the center to just look up what is exactly is happening with the NTA and the way the exam has been conducted. And I cannot say anything about conducting a re-NEET, but I think the investigation should be done.
No, so what according, when you say so many irregularities, let's one by one, and I'll put the graphic on what are the so-called irregularities. There is the alleged allegation that how come suddenly in an exam you have 67 people maxing the papers and getting 720, many of them from the same coaching center. That's one irregularity. The second irregularity is the manner in which grace marks are given. The fact, as I said, 6 out of 67 who got full marks were from one center. So you have the grace marks issue. On what basis do you give grace marks? 44 out of 67 toppers answered a physics question incorrectly. Then they are told there are 2 answers to that question. So they are given the benefit of that. So I want to understand from you, when you say there are so many irregularities, is it enough, you believe, to call for a complete review of this exam in the future, Rohit?
Well, actually, minor impersonation cases, few cases of paper leak, that happens almost every year. And medical entrance examinations, they are known to be having such instances of paper leak. It's very common, but not at this scale, at this magnitude. It is the first time it has happened that more than 60 students have scored full out of full marks. Now, this doesn't happen in any competitive exam. Look at JEE, look at UPSC, look at CLAT. There's so many entrance examinations, but have you ever come across such an instance where so many students are getting full out of full marks? 67 students. Out of
you think dal mein kuch kala hai? You're saying dal mein kuch kala hai ya puri dal kali hai?
See, there are so many coincidences, so many irregularities, and these coincidences cannot be just mere coincidences. There is something really wrong out here. And also, because this exam determines the future of a student, whether the person will be doctor or not. And in case our society is producing that kind of doctors who have passed through grace marks, who have got admitted through unfair means, then I don't know what quality of doctors we will be generating, and they'll be treating the patients and the society as a whole.
Okay, you're making very serious points. You believe that the irregularities are much more than what the government claims are. Maheshwar Perry, founder and chairman, Careers 360, you've been writing, tweeting, blogging on this issue extensively. Do you believe, as the government is claiming, that, look, there is nothing fundamentally wrong with the way the National Testing Agency conducts the exam, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater?
No, I think, Rajdeep, the larger issue that government must understand is it must start understanding the issues faced by the students than being a spokesperson for the NTA. NTA is an independent body, and the government must be speaking out, trying to understand the issues faced by the student. The issue is not just about 67 toppers. 67 toppers is unparalleled and not possible, if you ask me personally, right? Perfect score by 67 people. You look at the rank and score inflation that happened across the board, right? At 700 marks, last year you had 294 people sneaking in.
I'll put up that graphic also.
At 600 marks, last year it was 26,000. Yeah, and at 600 marks, it's 26,000, it's 80,000. So across the board, for the top seats, the government seats, if I may say so, you actually have a score inflation that happened. And it is not about 100,000 seats that students are fighting for, Rajdeep. Of the 100,000, about 45,000 are private and deemed university seats, which are extremely expensive. So many students don't even compete for that, right? What you're left with is 55,000 of government seats, of which, if you remove the reserved categories and all, we're dealing with 30,000 seats. Most of the students are competing to be a part of the 30,000. So you actually have a demand supply of 23 lakh versus, or whatever you remove the categories, about 15 lakhs to 30,000 seats. So when you actually have that kind of a demand supply situation, and you have some paper leak taking away 3,000-4,000, because a lot of people told me, listen, 1,500 students. No, it's not 1,500. It's 1,500 out of 30,000 seats and not 1,500 out of 24 lakh students.
No, but the demand, but Mahesh, irrespective, that demand supply situation is not going to change. 23 lakh students who are battling for 30,000 seats, that's not going to change.
I agree with you, Rajdeep. But of the 30,000 that are available, if you have 5,000-7,000 seats being taken away by these kind of means, it can be a paper leak or a grace mark or whatever it is, then it's much more dramatic, isn't it? So all I'm trying to say is that it is not 1,563 out of 24 lakh. It is 1,563 who may be actually laying a claim on these 30,000 seats, which is where the outrage is. And more importantly, Rajdeep, there are 2 or 3 centers that have been caught. It doesn't mean that, once you have a paper leak, you actually have it extensively. It's much beyond 3. And by experience, I can tell you that it's much, much beyond 3. Go back to the 21-22 case that happened in JEE, where 820 students were caught having, influenced the scoring pattern and gotten into NITs. So the issue is much beyond this. What we see, the 1,563 are students who complain. By the way, that's very important. These students complain to the High Court, different courts, because of which they got a grace mark. Are you saying that from now on, every student, after they write the examination, come out of the examination hall, complain to the High Court so that they actually have a better hearing from the NTA? That's not the way you run a country.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree on that point with you more.
It is not just 3.
I've taken your point, Mahesh, on board. I'll come back because I'm going to want solutions. We've identified that there are irregularities, and Vivek Thakur, you can pick up from where Mahesh let off. The fact is, there are coaching centers, and we are seeing it with JEE, we are seeing it now with NEET as well. You're managing director and founder of Scholars Den and former alumni of IIT Kharagpur. I want to ask you, is the entire system, as they would say, sab mile hue hain? Or is it that there are a few rotten apples who are giving the entire system a bad name? That there are certain coaching centers, certain places where possibly the entire system is being scammed. And as Mahesh says, if there are 1,500 students who are perhaps benefiting out of 30,000, that's quite a substantial number.
Rajdeep ji, coming back to your original question कि दाल में कुछ काला है या दाल ही काला है, I would say दाल ही काला है, because I had been fighting with the system for a long time now. In 2017, I fought a case against IIT Madras. There was a bonus marks case. I have been active for students' rights. Now, I would say, coming back to your question, see, parallel to the NEET exam, if you see, IITs have been conducting JEE for so many years now. They have a structure, they have a system, they have personnel. IIMs have been conducting CAT for so many years now. There had not been any major chaos. In this exam, NEET, you find for almost 5-6 years now, since the NTA has taken over from CBSE, there had been issues almost every year. If you go to the ground, because I am a person who goes to the centers, exam centers every year to wish my students, what I see there, that the conduct of exam, the organization is much poorer even to the board exams. Now, the stakes here are very high. Because in a board exam, there is not a situation like this where, like a student, like he was saying, Mahesh was saying that in government medical colleges, there are 48,000 seats. So suppose a student gets into a seat in government medical colleges, the total expense for his MBBS would be around 5-6 lakhs. If he doesn't get it, he has to go to a private medical college where the expenses are almost to the tune of 1 crore. So the stakes are very high here. So there would be people, obviously, there are rackets running almost for 5-6 years. This year, the furor is very high. The outroar is very strong because the inflation is very strong. Every year there were people, 300, 400, 500 people who were benefiting from this, all the scamsters. There is an entire racket, and the students know the rates. And I talk to
are you saying when you say student, no, 1 minute. When you say today Vivek Thakur to me on this program, students know the rate, you are telling me students are being able to buy their way? Are they buying the papers?
Yes, students are telling that every year students get offers that if you want paper 2 hours before the exam, the rate is 5 lakh. And it's very common. This is along the lines what Patna EOU has got the confessions from the scam mafia, from this cheating mafia. They confess that yes, they have charged 30 lakhs rupees per candidate. And this is the same rate that the students told me 5 days before this.
You are telling me students told you if you want the paper 2 hours before you have to pay 5 lakhs. That's what you're telling me.
2 days before or 1 day before you have to pay.
No, who is this? A middleman? There are middlemen who is running the racket.
Yes, there are rackets running, and there's one Telegram video which has gone viral just after the results came, that the government need to investigate, where it was clearly written that my students would top this exam. Wait for the results to come, and the cutoff will be higher this year. He predicted the exact cutoff, that cutoff would be 650 plus, and this year the cutoff has actually come from 600 to 650. It is
So
a
you're
situation
saying coaching, you're telling me coaching centers.
No, not coaching centers.
No,
These are cheating mafias.
The exam mafias that if you know about it, doesn't the National Testing Agency also know about it? Doesn't NTA know this?
No, that is to be investigated, because see, these things in common domain, the students know that they come with this, they get these offers, and this rackets has been running for many years now.